Good morning. Barry Bryson here. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. And we're continuing our study of the Gospel of Matthew. We're in chapter 11 today. And we had just a sobering message from Jesus yesterday about who John is, who he is, and who we are. And today he's going to pronounce woes upon unrepentant cities. There are woes as well as blessings in Matthew's Gospel. There is a list of woes to the Pharisees, scribes and Pharisees, in Matthew 23. Some include that as a sermon or add that as a sixth sermon, or include it as the final sermon. I don't think it's a standalone sermon at all. I think it's a pronouncement of woes, which is not the same thing as a sermon. I mean, he's going to pronounce a couple of woes today to a couple of little towns, and this is what he has to say. He began to denounce the cities where his most mighty works had been done, because they did not repent. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the mighty works done in you had been done in Tyre and Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I tell you, it will be more tolerable on the day of judgment for Tyre and Sidon than for you. And you, Capernaum, will you be exalted to heaven? You will be brought down to Hades. For if the mighty works done in you had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. But I tell you, it will be more tolerable on the day of judgment for the land of Sodom than for you. Well, we've arrived at that moment. I promised you we would. We're discussing the teaching of Jesus in regard to degrees of hell. Is Jesus teaching degrees of hell? He's mentioned this already before. More tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah than it is for the towns that reject you. He said that back in chapter 10. And now he's pronouncing judgment on these 3 towns. They're actually one metropolitan area. So Capernaum is the big town. It's the number 2 city in Palestine, behind Jerusalem, and in many ways more important than Jerusalem. Such a vibrant economy going in and out of Capernaum. It's an important place in the Roman Empire. So Chorazin is a village northwest of Capernaum. We're not sure exactly the nature of the town, other than that that's its location. There's a possibility it might have been kind of a well-heeled suburb where people who could afford to live away from the city center lived. Bethsaida we know a good bit about. Bethsaida is a village, a fishing village, southeast. So we're going, we're making a line, cutting through the city of Capernaum, running from the northwest down to the southeast. And Bethsaida is the town where Peter, Andrew, James, and John live. And it is the fishing village connected to the city of Capernaum, there on the Sea of Galilee. In fact, Bethsaida means the house of fishing, or the place of fishing. Its name is Fishing Town, Fish Town. And that's basically what it's named. And then he mentions Capernaum itself, which is his base of operations. And he denounces these 3 cities, not because they don't believe that he's performed these miracles, or that they don't believe he has been sent from God. He specifically condemns them because they have not repented. It has made no difference. They see what he's done, they admit that it's from God, and it has made no difference. Does that mean it's going to be worse, that there are degrees of hell? Of course, the Roman Catholic Church of medieval times presented 7 levels of hell, and in Dante there are 9. I want to suggest that you read get a modern translation, of course, and try to get one that doesn't make it rhyme. Dante's Divine Comedy is in 3-line, 3-line stanzas, and each line rhymes. When you try to translate into English, it doesn't work. But get a modern translation of Dante and read that. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty good read. The description of heaven that he gives, the throne of God, which incorporates a lot of the scriptures, pretty amazing. But the first book, the Inferno, describes hell and 9 layers of hell. The first layer of which doesn't seem to be too bad. The first layer of which, you know, you basically are swirling around in a wind tunnel, which people pay good money to do at Dollywood. So, I don't know. Is that what Jesus is presenting? Layers of hell, levels of hell? I don't know. The moment of judgment is going to be either a moment of absolute grace or of absolute terror. And maybe it's the level of terror that we feel, knowing that not only did we believe, but we rejected what we believed. You know, that those people didn't have the good sense to even believe. But you did. And you didn't change anything anyway. And maybe the level of terror is going to be less tolerable on the day of judgment. If he is, what does it matter? Hell is hell. I don't want to be on any level of it. And heaven is heaven. And if there are levels of reward, which I don't think the New Testament teaches, but if there are, heaven is heaven. I'd rather be, you know, in the cheapest seats of heaven than to be in the best accommodations of hell. I mean, what does it matter one way or the other? It doesn't. And I don't know that's what Jesus is saying anyway. I want us to take with us that the difference is that they have believed and they haven't done anything about it. And that's what makes it less tolerable for them on the day of judgment. And to compare someone to Sodom in Jesus' day, and even in this day, is about as bad as a comparison you can make. And so anyway, we will pick up with the rest of chapter 11 next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.